And now from San Diego, California, welcome to the Gentle Jab Show. With a little gentle jab coming from the left and another gentle jab coming from the right. We'll exchange some punches, but they'll be pretty light. We'll debate politics and have a friendly fight. So let's get started.
Welcome to Gentle Jabs. On this show, Democrats and Republicans come together to discuss current events in the United States and around the world. On this week's show, we will be discussing January 6th, the midterms, interest rates, two-tier justice, and crime in cities. John, do you want to kick it off for us this week?
Yeah, I haven't watched any of this January 6th malarkey, and it's actually quite embarrassing. I don't think our country's seen anything like this since Joseph McCarthy back in the early 50s. I think it's a travesty. There's no due process, and I think it's a joke. Bill Clinton, do you think this is going to help your party in the midterms? Are they just grasping at straws?
Oh, I think you're already starting to see a change. We've been doing this hearing on Donald Trump for the last week and a half or so, and it's coming to an end, I think, pretty soon. And we all know by listening to the tapes and watching the film that Trump instigated the people to go to the Capitol and fight. It's on tape that he said, "I want you to go to the Capitol and fight."
Yeah, those tapes were all edited. I didn't see.
Can I respond? Can I respond to this numbskull?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
There's a lot of terms when you say fight, like fight on. We're going to fight. We're going to fight for you. That doesn't mean physically. I meant for them to go and fight the people. And the way that you're trying to interpret it, everybody knows what's going on here. Everybody knows they're trying to keep me out from running again if I choose to run. That's what this is all about. They're terrified that I'm coming back. I'm winning with a lot of people. In a lot of polls, I'm helping people that win seats, and they're terrified about it. Right, John?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Pelosi did not allow the Republicans to seat their own committee members. That's never been done before in the history of our country. It's a complete sham. They're not calling Ray Epps. They're not calling the officer that shot Ashley Babbitt in cold blood. It's just ridiculous. I haven't watched any of it. I do see some short clips once in a while, but it's absolutely a disgrace to this country. And that's the best they've got. It's just annoying.
Well, you know what? The thing is here, how could you have a hearing without the person that you're talking about can't represent themselves? How can you have a hearing when you're only hearing one side of the story and you're not hearing anything else?
Yeah, you got Liz Cheney and that clown from Michigan. I guess he's not going to run again. Adams, whatever. And it's just outrageous. They're editing the clips. They're showing only what they want to do. They're cherry picking the stuff. I'd like to hear from Ray Epps. He was the one that's on tape instigating them to go into the Capitol the night before and the day of. So there's all kinds of police actions that weren't any good and not good for our country. So I think it's a complete sham. I don't know how much longer it's going to go on. But Bill Clinton, is this what you think is democracy? Is this what you guys call democracy?
I think we're going about it the correct way. I think Liz Cheney's doing a great job. I know she's not doing well in Wyoming in the polls. But the thing is that, Donald for a long time has gotten away with murder. And that's about all. Wait a minute. You've got the audacity to say that I've got away with murder, and you and your wife have done so many catastrophic things in this country. You're going to have the nerve to talk about that, Bill? Please don't bring my wife into this. She's not feeling well right now.
Well, it's just an amazing thing. And, Bill Clinton, I think that was hurtful language. I don't know, last week's show, you said a couple of times that was hurtful language.
It was.
Yeah. So I think that this January 6th thing is going to blow over. I think it's going to backfire on the Democrats. The primaries are all going in the right direction for the Republicans. And I wish, like last week's show, Donald Trump said he wanted to move the midterms up. I'd love to see him moved up to July. I thought we're
not so fast. So fast. We're not done with this hearing yet. And by the way, if you've listened to it, John,
They've had people from the Republican Party, Barr, a lot of other people have come that are Republicans and said, even the judge came out last week and said that there was no fraud.
They're all
no evidence of any
cherry-picked.
fraud.
Let me ask you this. Have you seen 2,000 Mules?
I have not.
You have not.
No.
So it's just outrageous. You know, they use the geo tracking to lock people up that were there, but they don't want to use it for the mules. It's just outrageous. Now let's take a look here. We're going to get into the midterms. They're only less than 5 months away now. And I think it's going to be quite devastating for the Democrats. Mitch, let's take a look at clip one and see how the economy is affecting people. MSNBC is telling their people not to vote on gas prices. I mean, it's just outrageous. Let's take a look at what some of the problems are confronting the Democrats in the midterms.
Tonight, millions of Americans are feeling the financial squeeze of runaway inflation, with prices rising at the fastest pace in 40 years. Government officials now looking for ways to ease some of that pain, but will it work? Here's ABC's Deirdre Bolton.
Tonight, Americans squeezed on near record gasoline prices, still perilously close to $5 per gallon.
To do anything, it's just so much harder now because it's so much more expensive for literally everything.
The price of fuel up 60% from this time last year. With inflation at the top of Americans' worry list, President Biden is blaming big oil, telling our Mary Bruce.
So if you just base it what a barrel of oil costs in it should not be decided to make an exorbitant profit.
Experts say that may be part of higher gasoline prices, but the energy crunch started more than 2 years ago during the pandemic.
Americans abruptly stopped driving as much and planes stopped flying as much that demand plummeted, which caused refineries to lose billions of dollars and shut down as a result. And these refineries, in many cases, are permanently shut down.
Lawmakers and industry groups are proposing at least 3 remedies: gas rebate cards, a gas tax holiday, or invoking the Defense Production Act to get those refineries back up to speed. As to other effects on your wallet,
the biggest pressure on household budgets is because the biggest increases in prices are in categories that are necessities. Shelter, food, and energy have been the most consistent increases.
The price of boneless chicken breast up almost 28%. A gallon of milk up more than 20%. And rent for a 1-bedroom apartment is up 25.5% year on year.
To be sure, the Biden administration is downplaying the possibility of recession, citing the strong U.S. labor market. But if business leaders lose confidence and hire less, that could make any potential slowdown even worse. Went.
And that is the concern. Deirdre, thank you. And be sure to tune into This Week tomorrow morning. George Stephanopoulos speaks exclusively with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen about the Biden administration's plans for.
Yeah, that's that. Now, I saw a report this morning that $7 trillion have been lost out of retirement accounts since Joe got involved with this whole thing. Seniors are seeing their dreams devastated and having to go back to work at age 65 and up. Bill Clinton, how can you possibly think that, we're not going to be in a recession? We've already had 1 quarter of negative GDP growth. Are you really thinking that Joe is doing the right thing?
I do, because I'll tell you something. Recessions are inevitable. They happen every now and then. And when we come out of it, if we actually go into one, we're going to come out stronger than we ever have before. I would like to mention, I might add, that on the gas thing, that on the clip that Mitch put up there, Biden is doing a great job talking to states to try to eliminate the gas tax, and it might help $50 per gallon. I don't know, but it's a start. We're trying to do the best that we can with this situation that we're in.
Well, in all the years that I've lived in Utah, I've never seen gas go over $5, and I've been paying for over $5.30 a gallon the last few weeks, and it is outrageous. It's outrageous that things have escalated to this point.
Well, it's funny because 30 cents is not going to move the needle. It's not going to do anything for anybody. 30 cents a gallon, well, it's not going to do it. What happened was, what they failed to mention in the video was that they stopped the Keystone Pipeline. When they did that, they shut down a lot of refineries. He told you a half truth. mostly a lie.
Yeah, that was ABC News, and they did not mention increasing production. Everything was a flim-flam scam thing. And it's just outrageous what these Democrats are getting away with. I just think it's really going to cost them in the midterms. Now, these guys here that were in Detroit and Philadelphia putting up placards to not allow observers to, have the Republicans done enough, Donald Trump, to stop the shenanigans from happening in the midterms, in your view?
Well, I'd like to think so. I mean, we're trying every day. We're coming up with different plans and things to try to serve the American people and get us back on track. But I would like to mention one other thing, going back to your first topic that you had about January 6th. Did you guys hear about last Thursday when Stephen Colbert sent a bunch of his employees, they did an insurrection there. They went in the Capitol building, attacked in the Capitol building. They were arrested. They spent one night in jail and were released. Nothing in the mainstream media, the fake news, nobody discussed what they did, which was the same thing that some of the people that I talked to, that I saw, went in there. It's the exact same thing. But yet my supporters are in jail for a year and a half with no due process.
Well, I was going to bring that up under the two-tier justice system that we see going on in this country. But you're absolutely right, President Trump. These guys from Colbert, the guys that did all the destruction in Milwaukee and Portland and Seattle, they're all out on the street getting ready to do it again. I mean, it's just outrageous what's going on here. Now, the midterms, I'm still predicting a pickup of 50 seats for the Republicans. I saw where they had 75 seats on the hot list. And President Clinton, I still haven't seen anyone request that Joe come into their territory and do a rally with him. Joe could not get 100 people at the DNC headquarters. What do you think?
Well, he probably couldn't get 100 people on the southern border of Texas either. But I would like to comment on what Donald just said a minute ago, and that is when you're talking about Stephen Colbert, he's a comedian. He was just joking. That's all it was. It was just a joke. He's a comedian. You can't take him seriously on that.
Well, I think that the law is the law, and they violated the principles of the House.
That's right, John. They were arrested. That's no joke.
Yeah.
They were arrested. The people were arrested and let go the next day. That's not a joke.
Yeah, it's outrageous. It's a two-tier justice system. Now let's take a look at clip 2, Mitch. I want to talk a little bit about interest rates, because I read where 15 million people have now been priced out of the housing market, and how more expensive it is to afford a $400,000 mortgage. Let's see what this lady has to say.
The Fed's interest rate hike of 0.75 percentage point yesterday shows how the central bank is trying to rein in inflation without hopefully causing too much harm to the economy. High interest rates and high inflation hit people hard, but in different ways. Here's a look at how rising interest rates and inflation are impacting Americans by the numbers. $800, that's how much more it costs per month, according to Mortgage News Daily, for a $400,000 home loan compared to the same size loan taken in December. Car payments are also rising fast. The average monthly new car payment is now $712, according to Edmunds. That's compared to $575 during the second quarter last year, according to Experian. It's inflation and daily purchases in particular that the Fed is most concerned about right now. 8.6%. That's the annual inflation rate as of May, the highest since December of 1981. And consumers are certainly feeling the pinch. $7. That's now the average cost for a pound of bacon, according to MarketWatch. That's $1 more than last year. Eggs have gone up even more. $2.86 is what it cost for a dozen grade A eggs last month. A year ago, a dozen eggs would have cost on average $1.62. Wages are going up as well, but not enough to offset inflation. They're only up 6.1%, according to the Atlanta Fed's wage tracker. Compared to a year ago, that's 2.5 points below the inflation rate.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC.
Now, neither one of these people behind me, I think, have any solutions for these current problems. Seniors are having to go back into the workplace. You know, the consumer price index excludes energy and food. when you put that in there, we're looking more like 15 to 20%. And it's just outrageous what's going on here. Bill Clinton, I think this is a losing strategy. You know, you just can't keep blaming Putin. Everything is Putin's tax. And your new press secretary, you should go in there and become the press secretary.
Well, I think I could do a pretty good job. I have a lot of experience talking with people and dealing with certain characters. But, you know, the thing is that we just need to remain calm. There's big sell-offs in the stock market. There's things happen around the country with inflation. And we'll see just how it comes out. But you can't blame Joe for everything that's going on. I mean, we had a pandemic that's responsible for a lot of this, with a lot of stimulus checks that were cut, and that was your idea, Donald. And the stimulus checks, that was, I don't know how many, couple $1 trillion in debt that we printed for that. So when you start printing more than you have, then it's going to cause inflation. We've got a war across the globe with Ukraine. In my opinion, the Russians will not win, but we'll wait and see on that. So, I mean, if Donald was the president right now, he says it wouldn't be like this. It might even be worse. We might have been blown up by now.
Yeah, I think President Trump wants to respond to that comment. That's hurtful language, Bill.
Nothing he does or says matters to me. Nothing. You know, Bill, it's amazing. All you have to do is look at my record. You look at my record on we had the greatest economy in 50 years. Your party blew it, all of it. Yes, we had a pandemic. Yes, I tried to keep airplanes from coming into our country while you guys were trying to impeach me at the same time. So mistakes were made by everyone. Looking back, we didn't need to shut down everything. We could have kept it open. The schools could have kept open. So, you know, I would have kept us out of a war. Back, by the way, I'm the only president they ever did. I would have kept us out of this Ukrainian war. I would have talked to Vladimir. We could have worked something out to where it didn't have to go this way. But you know what? Biden is led by the military-industrial complex. They want wars. That's one of the reasons why I'm not your president anymore, because I don't want wars. And they make money on wars, equipment, bullets, everything. And they wouldn't get it from me. That's why they left all the equipment in Afghanistan for millions and millions of dollars. People ask, why did we leave it? Why did we bring it back? I don't know. Why do we bring it back? Because they want to make more money. They've gotten too big. They own this country. 60% of our tax dollars goes to the military-industrial complex.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
They left $85 billion worth of armaments there. You can look up the list. It's just outrageous. Joe is clueless. His vice president has no idea what she's doing. She's failed at everything she's been given to do. Now, I want to move on to this two-tier justice system, as we touched on it a little bit earlier. But when I saw what's going on in front of the Amy Coney Barrett's house and Kavanaugh's house, the attempted assassination, you know, can you imagine if we have more respect for the rule of law, but let's say some conservatives were going by Elena Kagan's or Sotomayor's house and do that. It's against federal law to try to influence or harass judges in this country. Bill Clinton, and what is going on here? Why don't you guys respect the rule of law?
Oh, I do. I absolutely do. And what do you mean by harass? Is that one word or two?
That's one word.
Oh,
I know.
oh, okay.
You look at it as two words.
Okay. Well, no, I wasn't either. I'm just wanting clarification. That's all I am. I'm very much on detail. So, you know, I kind of agree with you on that one, John. I mean, nobody should come into someone's neighborhood and create a ruckus and disturb the peace. I'm all for that, against that actually. So I would not condone that.
And President Trump, Peter Navarro, I used to listen to him all the time, a great economic mind and a great advisor to you, the way he was treated. If I look at that, the June 6th January 6th people that were arrested. They have no habeas corpus. They don't get a fair and swift trial. But all these other looters and rioters are all out on the street again. Do you not see this as a two-tiered justice system?
Oh, it's completely a two-tiered. And Bill, your wife is in that upper tier. She should have been in jail a long time ago. That I can tell you. But it was ridiculous how they treated this man. They put him in chains, ball and chain and shackle. And by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, John. They put him in the same prison as Hinckley, where he was. They put him in his cell.
Yeah, it's outrageous. We've got to take back the House and the Senate and start to put the brakes on this woke, clueless agenda. I saw it yesterday in the news that a man who refused to answer the question if he was pregnant when he was trying to give blood was denied the right to give blood to help out his fellow citizens. I mean, this woke stuff is just off the charts. It's just outrageous, and it's making no sense to anyone. So
they're not going to win.
You guys.
They're not going to win with this.
No.
People are tired. People are fed up with it. Everyone's fed up with it. And you know what? It's ridiculous. Before there was a group of people that said, oh, you guys are intolerant. You're racist. You're this and that. But then when you start to give an ear to some of these people with what they believe, with their pronouns and all this other stuff, they're the ones who are the most intolerant of everybody else because they're trying to shove it down our throat, and we're not going to tolerate it.
Yeah, now, President Trump, I heard you at your last couple of rallies say that not to worry, you would not be riding a bike. So what do you make of that Joe thing with the bike? I mean, besides falling on the stairs of the airplane, this little mishap with the bike really doesn't really look good for President Biden.
No, I feel bad about it. It's a good thing he didn't get hurt, but really, they should put him on a tricycle. That way, if you fall, you're only going to go down about 10 inches. So you put him on a tricycle, or for me, myself, like I said the other day, I'm not even going to get on a bike. I'm not going to ride anywhere.
Well, what I appreciate about your presidency, you never took sides like these Democrats. I mean, this whole January 6th thing and all this two-tiered justice system it's what totalitarian governments do. It's what dictators do. And I don't know who's pulling the strings behind the curtain for Joe, but he's certainly not in charge. And Kamala Harris doesn't have the mental capacity, the personality to do a good job for this country.
Well, I'll say something right here and now. I did offer my expertise to help out in certain situations.
Well,
you know what they told me? You know what they told me, John?
No, go right ahead.
You're not left-wing enough.
Well,
that's what they told me.
That's probably the truth. I mean, you were not the worst president we've ever had. The first two, in my mind, that come up are Jimmy Carter and Joe Biden. So, and then Obama. So Bill Clinton ranks the best Democrat in my lifetime as president. So we've got a real mess on our hands here. I want to make sure we have enough election integrity to get a true vote coming up in November. It's not that far away. Now let's move on to crime in these cities. If you took out the statistics for Baltimore, New York, Chicago, LA, and San Francisco, America is quite a safe country. Why, Bill Clinton, do you guys not believe that law and order is important for the minorities in these big cities?
Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. By the way, and one of the things that we want to do with law and order is have some gun control. And we had a bipartisan agreement to sign some of the things such as mental illness and a more extensive background check for some of these people, and increase the age limit. So we're trying, we believe in law and order, but we don't believe that someone should have a AR-15 or something like that. We know they're not going duck hunting when they go out with one of those.
Well, I just saw an article today where a woman that was being raped in Tampa shot the intruder in self-defense. So if 15 guys come into your house to loot it, you can have any kind of weapon you want. I mean, I want to see criminal control. I don't know why you guys keep pushing this fluff stuff. I mean, what is raising the age to 21 going to do?
Well, I think there's a maturity thing involved. I think there's a mental thing involved. And I think there needs to be, if someone's going to, at 21 years of age, that is going to purchase a gun, they have to go through a series of gun safety classes and be able to pass them. What do you think of that? Is that a good idea?
Yeah, now let me ask you this. Do you think criminals under the age of 21 are going to abide by that?
No, I don't think they will, but we can't get everybody, but we can get the majority of the people on board.
Yeah, so now you want to put more burdens on law-abiding citizens. What about criminal control? Why aren't you guys more serious about criminal control to help support life in these cities? People are leaving these cities.
That's state by state. I know in California, it's more lenient. If you commit a crime under $1,000, they don't arrest you. I disagree with that. But again, it's state by state, how they individually run their states with the crime. As far as crime goes, you know, crime's always going to go up when times are tough. There can be more porch pirates and peeping Toms and all kinds of things going on around homes.
Well, you should know about that kind of stuff. So
I do.
Yeah. Now, President Trump, you had a lot of support from the police. You supported the police. You support the military. These Democrats are digging a big hole for themselves. Don't you think this is going to play out in the midterms coming up in 5 months?
Well, I'll tell you something. If it doesn't, we're in deep, deep trouble. We're in very deep trouble. If people don't wake up to what's going on in our country, we're not just talking about the border, Ukraine, or gas or inflation. There's a lot of other things. I just saw today where we're going to get millions and millions of the baby formula from Mexico, of all places. They're going to ship millions of them. Why? Why do we have to get it from Mexico? Why aren't we producing it? Why are we out of it? Who's running the ship here? You know, who's guiding the ship?
Yeah,
There's no leadership
first.
here.
That is a great slogan. America first. Produce things here. Create jobs for our citizens. Supply our own needs. Forget about all the supply chain nonsense. Pete Buttigieg has no clue what to do on the supply chain stuff. I mean, you know, it's just outrageous what this administration has done in, 18 months? They've turned this American economy upside down. So I think we want to get closing comments from either of the presidents on anything they've heard tonight and what they see happening in the next week or so.
Well, I'd like to jump in first, if you don't mind, Donald. I like what I hear again from President Biden trying to lower the gas tax and also working with other individuals around the country.
Well, it seems like we're Bill Clinton's phone's having a glitch, but while we wait for him to reconnect, I would like to make a comment.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was hearing Bill Clinton okay as well.
Yeah, I heard me too.
Yeah. So he's still live. Go ahead, Bill.
You darn right I'm alive. And I'll tell you this, Mitch, don't be so sure. As things get revealed about Donald and what he did a year and a half ago, I think a lot of people will wake up and realize that they won't listen to his endorsements in the midterms, and there could be a huge shift, especially if the economy starts to turn around.
Well, that's what Biden and Pelosi are hoping for, because they know that a red wave is coming. President Trump, why don't you add some color to this conversation?
Oh, I got a spray paint right here for him. You know what? You listen to what's going on. It's a lot of nonsense. There's nothing specific. There was never any plan 18 months ago. It was get rid of Trump. That was it. Then all of a sudden they got the cackler that can't put sentences together. She's terrible. She's horrible. They can't replace Joe with her. They're in a mess. They're in a complete mess. Worse than Bush. I mean, you talk about low energy. This guy looks like he's made of paper mache. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't answer questions. He's directed all the time by his people to keep moving along. It's horrible. It's terrible what we're seeing in our country. And I would like to see that the American people have had enough. They're going to come out in huge, huge numbers.
I think
Believe me.
that's true. I think that's true. Okay, Mitch, great show tonight. Got some good comments from both
Oh,
presidents.
by the way, John,
Yeah, go right ahead.
I just would like to cut in one more second for your viewers to hit the like and sub button if you'd like to come see us and support our show. Because
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer I can be on here. I'm going to start doing a lot of campaigning here in the next 6 months. We'll see what happens.
Well, we've got a YouTube channel, and President Trump, I appreciate you coming on the show every week along with Bill Clinton. And we want to try to get our subscribers up. And I know you're going to be busier than Joe is going to be in the next several months. So come and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Mitch, great show tonight. Can you close us out? And we'll see you guys next week.
God bless America.
Yeah.